All right, Dennis Tackham here. Today I want to talk to you about how to take back control of your life, especially when you run a business. Look, for most people that run a business, it ends up being like a prison. They're trapped. They're fighting with their family. They're fighting with their vendors. They're fighting with their clients. They're struggling to get paid. They're spending all kinds of hours. They're spending weeks and weeks and weeks of time at the business. And every time they're just hoping. They're hoping the next month is going to be better. The next week is going to be better. The next year is going to be better. And then they finally start to get things straightened out. And then wham, something comes along like a recession or a COVID or something that just punches the business in the face. And next thing you know, they're back to square one. Look, if you really want to break out of this, if you actually honestly believe that you want to break out of this, you got to completely flip your thinking. The very first thing you have to do is you have to design your business around your life. You don't design your life around your business. Why? Because you will always give up more and more life. It'll always cost you more and more life, and the business will always maintain and stay in control. You will always be dominated by it unless you got an escape plan to get out of it. Now, here's how your escape plan starts. Number one, you sit down with a pen and paper, and your significant other, if you have one, your business partner, if you have one, or by yourself, if you are there by yourself with a pen and piece of paper. And the very first thing you do is you write out a calendar, right? You can even download one from online, but start with a blank calendar. What you're going to do is you're going to write out what's important to you. Put in the important to you tasks first into your calendar. Things that give life to you. Going to the gym could be one of them. Going for a run could be another. Going out to movies. Having a chat with your parents, whatever it is, things that are important to you, spending time with your kids, going fishing, whatever it is, those things go into your calendar first. You plan out your vacation time, you plan out your weekends off, you plan on your evening things, you plan all of that out first. Well, Dennis, I'm not a planner, I love to live impulsively. Great, start with 1 month. Lay out the 1 month on how you'd like to live your life, right? And then the next thing you're gonna do is after you write out the important to you tasks, the next thing you write out is working on the business tasks. Not in the business, on the business. What's an on the business task? Setting up numbers is an on the business task. Planning out marketing strategies is an on the business task. Dealing with the hiring process is an on the business task. Training staff is an on the business task. Staff meetings is an on the business task. Things that you need to do to work on the business to advance it forward. Most people never work on the business because they don't know the numbers and they don't know what to work on. It's all just guesswork and hope and hearsay and whatever else. So put out the on the business time second. Now, how much time should you spend on the business? My recommendation is, and what we do with all of our clients, is 4 hours a week. Start with 4 hours a week in 2 2-hour blocks. It takes you 90 minutes to actually get something accomplished before the brain wants to move on to something else. And it takes you 15 minutes to come into focus. And with a world full of distractions, if you set aside an hour, you're just never going to get anything accomplished. So start with 2 2-hour blocks and time that makes the most sense for you when you're at your best. If you're at your best at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, schedule your on the business time at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're at your best at 5 o'clock in the morning, set your on business time at 5 o'clock in the morning. You've got to set your on the business time for the time that you're at your very best so you don't just fall asleep and you give the best of what you've got to the business. The third thing you put in the calendar is in the business time. It's the task that you have to accomplish in the business to get the results that you're looking for. That could be your sales calls. That could be you going out and doing the work. That could be talking to customers. That could be anything that you have to do in the business to keep moving it forward. So start off with plan out your life first, the vacations that you want to take, the weekends off that you want to have, the evenings that you want to have, and learn not to compromise on those. Learn to hang shit up at work and go on to the next thing. If you don't, you will always become a slave to money, even though you go, well, I don't know how to slave to money. It's a tool. If you're sacrificing your life for money, you're a slave to money. Okay, so reset this thing up so that way you know when your on the business time is, when your personal time is, which by the way comes first, what you want for your life first, second, what you have to do in the business to get that, and third, the work you're going to put in is on the business time. If you want to think about success, if you want to think about the way life works, people say, well, business is a marathon, not a sprint. Bullshit. Business is not a marathon. Business is a series of sprints and a series of resting and a series of downtime. You don't just go sprint to sprint to sprint to sprint to sprint. In fact, I know a gentleman, I mean, I read his book. I'm not actually the guy, but I know of a guy by the name of David Goggins. He wrote a book called Can't Hurt Me. If you get a chance to listen to it, listen to it. He's got a friend that authors it, and he has some commentary. It's a fantastic book. Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins. Anyway, David talks about, in his book, running back-to-back 100-mile marathons. Most people can't run 100 miles. He's doing back-to-back weekends of 100-mile marathons. But he's not doing back-to-back 100-mile marathons. He's not going and doing 100-mile marathon and then immediately going into another 100-mile marathon. He's resting between the marathons to prepare for the next marathon. It's the same as business. You can do it in a series of sprints, and that's what you set your calendar up for. It's your series of sprints. If you think this is going to be one long, big fucking marathon, please quit now because you're just going to die tired. It's kind of like trying to run from a Huey helicopter. They say, don't run, you'll die tired. It's going to get you anyway. This is a series of sprints, and you're setting up your calendar so you can sprint the most effectively. You can bring the best of your game most effectively. You can do this thing most effectively. So sit down, pen and paper, grab a calendar, print it out, don't give a shit. Grab one. Number one, what's important to you? Goes in the calendar first. That's your life. That's why you're doing this. If it's time with the kids, put it in there. If you want to put the kids to bed every day, put it in there. If you want to go to all your kids' meets, put it in there. That's time you're never going to get back. Put it in the calendar first. Number 2, on the business. That's what we talked about earlier. The shit you have to do to make the business run on the business time goes in the calendar next. If you don't put it in there, you're never going to do it. Number 3, in the business. That comes third. If you can't make the money you need to make in the business in the time frame you've allotted, change your margins or change your business. But if you don't build this business to give you life, you will give up your life for the business and have nothing to show for it. So do it smart. Grab the calendar. Till next time.